Hey guys, and welcome back. It's Audacious Extreme here, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering some of the best budget kits and pretty much just loadouts in general to allow you to be able to come back from having such a low amount of money like I currently do, and to come back from that and, just be able to keep running gear and not just instantly get killed, actually run a decent kit that's going to, keep you alive and allow you to be able to upgrade that kit as you survive and progress. So the first thing I'm going to be covering in this video is the medicine. So as you can see right now on my character, all I have is an AI2 med kit, which doesn't stop any bleeds or anything like that, but I do have the Estamarch, the S-March tourniquet, and just the average bandage. Now this is going to stop my heavy bleeds if I would be to get one, and this is going to stop light bleeds if I get any. All of this is available from Therapist Level 1, and all of these are very cheap items. But still will allow me to survive if I get shot, whatever, and I'm not going to just immediately bleed out and die. As I come down to my gamma container, you can see that I have an IFAK and some painkillers and a CMS kit. Now, typically, and now if you don't have a gamma, you don't always have to keep like the water and the random key that I have, but I would always recommend that you keep a CMS kit unless you want to end up getting stuck just walking around the map. Personally, I cannot stand that, and I feel like I'm immediately a target, and I always end up dying as soon as that happens, so I always want to carry at least the CMS surgical kit with me. In the beginning, you spawn with a bunch, and then later you're able to buy them from Therapist or on the flea market or wherever. I would always recommend carrying one of these, some painkillers, and some other type of medicine that can heal you, because the AI2 is not going to be enough if you actually get into a real gunfight. Now, if you have a gamma container, I strongly recommend keeping a bottle of water and maybe even some food in there. Once you survive a raid or two and decide that you would like to have some better meds on your character, I would strongly recommend at this point to ditch the AI2 completely and grab yourself a car med kit, because at this point you're going to have over double the amount of like healing points, and at this point it will also stop light bleeds if you need it to, which means at this point you can stop carrying the bandages. So this is just useful and something that I always recommend doing, but not necessarily before you survive that first raid and make a little bit of money back. The other thing I always recommend to add after you survive that first raid is some painkillers, because these you can easily put on your hotbar. I'm going to move these bandages out, and I'm going to put the med kits where I would normally, the painkillers I mean, where I normally put them, and I'm going to hit 5 on my keyboard. And now you can see down here that immediately popped up for my hotkeys. Now when I'm in raid and I get hit in the leg and I can't run anymore, I'm going to immediately hit 5 and eat that painkiller, and I'm going to be able to run just like that. Now the same goes though for my bandages. You saw before I had them to 4 and 5, I think. So if I had a heavy bleed, I press 4, light bleed, press 5. You always want to link anything to your hotkeys whenever possible. Just quickly, I'm just going to throw on this rig so you can see with the car. I would press 4, boop, so as soon as I get shot, press 4, start to heal up. Typically I do put the painkillers on 5, and then if I get shot in the leg, hit 5, boop. You always want to make sure, do the meds on the same thing, do the painkillers on the same thing. Don't really switch it up, because then you're going to end up forgetting and hit the wrong one when you panic, and it's just not going to be good. Always try to keep them the same. So for one of the most basic things and most basic kits that I would recommend, I would always recommend that you run at least a 6B2 body armor. It has armor class of 2, which is extremely low, but it will still stop bullets and will keep you from being immediately just one shot by some random scav. Now, it has pretty decent repair, and it doesn't cost a fortune, so you can easily repair it up, and further down the line, you can easily upgrade. Now, say you survive a raid and you make a bit of rubles, I would highly suggest upgrading this and getting yourself the Cora. This is a very, very good armor. It repairs extremely well. It is armor class 3, and it has a ton of armor points, meaning you can get hit quite a few times and the armor's still not going to be broken, and then on top of it, it repairs really well and hardly loses any durability. Like, this piece has been repaired twice so far, and it's only down to 76. So once you survive your first raid, I would strongly recommend to buy yourself this piece of body armor right here, and if you can afford it still, I would recommend this helmet. It has a high ricochet chance and is armor class 3 as well as 30 armor points. I could not tell you how many times this helmet right here has saved my life from being immediately just killed by one bullet right to the head. I could not tell you. The ricochet chance is no joke. I would strongly recommend this helmet if you can afford it. The only downfall is headphones don't work with it, but it's still worth the trade-off. As for your chest rig, I recommend pretty much any chest rig that you can find, either off of a scav or I believe this one you can buy from Ragman level 1, and it is only 12,000 rubles. Personally, I just like the look of it, but there's other ones like the bank robber that's only 10,000, and there's this one here that's, oh, it's only 6 slots, but this one here is 10 slots, and it's only 11,000. So you got a few different options. You also got the TV 109. So you have a few different options, but you're definitely going to want to pick yourself up a chest rig depending on what type of weapon you're using and if you're going to need those upper slots or not. So as for your backpack, basically when you're first just trying to start off and you don't have a ton of rubles, I still recommend that you have some type of backpack. Now, what I do with my backpacks is as I gain them, I just keep stacking them inside of each other. Even if they're small, I still hold on to them. This is just a tiny little transformer bag. It only has 9 slots. But even if you have this from, say, a scav run or whatever, take it in. That's 9 more slots that you can potentially get something valuable and, you know, get more stuff out of your raid. So just take that in. But I would strongly recommend, as soon as you're able to, head over to Ragman level 1. And you're going to want to grab yourself either a MBSS for 12,400 or the Wartech for 24.5, and then you're going to have yourself a nice big backpack and you'll be able to hold pretty much everything. But don't feel stressed. Work your way up to the bigger kits, and don't feel pressured. If you can't take a bag the first raid that you run, don't take a bag. If you can't take a chest rig, don't take a chest rig. Just do whatever you feel need be. Even if you can't upgrade to the class 3 body armor, but you want to get the helmet first, buy the helmet first. Whatever makes you feel more comfortable is what I recommend that you do. And play around with it and just find out what works best for you. So moving on to the next thing is going to be weapons. Now obviously we have quite a few different weapons available to us with even just the level 1 traders. But I'm going to tell you pretty much the few that I've been using the most and the ones that I've been enjoying and find like the most useful. And the first one is going to be the MP5. A lot of people are going to go with, oh, the cutter's better. The mags are too hard to get personally for me. And I just like the MP5 because we got the 30 round mags. The recoil is controllable. It doesn't shoot super crazy fast, so you have a longer firing period. And I just love this gun, especially early on before people have crazy high body armor. It's perfect, just totally stock. Just take a few 30 round mags in and you're good. On a little bit more powerful side, and still totally stock, the SKS. With 10 rounds, it's not quite as powerful as it used to be now with the FMJ rounds and not PS. But it's still quite viable if you're able to make a headshot. Now, this is a little bit less powerful than the OPSKS, but we'll get there in just a sec. The next weapon is going to be the MP155, and that's a semi-automatic shotgun that I personally recommend using slug rounds in. I don't really see too many people saying that, but I like the slug rounds because if you hit one to the head or one pretty much anywhere without a ton of body armor, it kills people. So I've been running this, and this one just happens to have the SPRM on it from Scav, and it's got an OPK7 sight on it. I've been rocking this. I've ran it for like 4 raids so far, and it's been pretty crazy. So I would definitely recommend trying this out with some slug rounds if you're having issues, and they're commonly dropped off of scavs. The next weapon that I would strongly recommend is going to be any of the AK-74 variants that are also commonly dropped off of a ton of scavs. They're almost all easily moddable with the EKP7 reflex sight, which is just a dovetail mount. And just like that, you can have a basic AK with a sight, which is relatively accurate, automatic, larger rounds that are more armor penetrating. And with the sight, you're going to be able to see exactly where you're aiming, and it's just a very powerful weapon. I love using these early on, especially because you don't need to put any money into them. You pretty much just find them how they are, and that's that. And they put in tons of work. So I strongly would recommend you trying to use one of these in any of the budget kits starting out if you have one. Now the final weapon I'm going to be showing is going to be the OPSKS, and this one's going to be a little bit more expensive. So this is going to be if you've already done a few runs and you really want a more powerful weapon that's going to be able to get you further and is also going to be more versatile and upgradable. So you could start with this with just a 10 round mag like it comes and no sight. But what I've done is I've upgraded that to a 20 round magazine so we can spray fire as much as we need to and not have to worry about reloading. I've added the OPSKS dovetail mount, as well as a Cobra dovetail mount on top of that, as well as the MRS sight. You can also put a flashlight on the side of that, or instead, if you don't want to go that route, you could put a PSO sight on that from Prapor. With this, sure, you still don't have the PS rounds like you used to, but if you find them in raid, or you eventually hit level 2 traders or flea market, you're able to get them that way, and this gun becomes insanely more powerful. So I would extremely recommend using this OPSKS and definitely this build because it's not that expensive. I believe it's around 70 to 75,000 rubles, so it's definitely not too bad. But yeah, if this video helped you guys out, please be sure to drop a like and definitely consider subscribing because I'm going to be doing a ton more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.